Good evening, students. This time, human health and disease, the chapter is here we have to discuss about many things. Because of that, I'm not going to make a type of a video which has only flowchart. It is very important to understand about this chapter. So, human health and disease consist of an introduction. So, introduction after that, disease and its types, then malaria, then life cycle of Plasmodium, even the Chikungunya, Elephantiasis, Ascariasis, Typhoid, common cold, Pneumonia, Amoebiasis, Ringworm, immunity, antibody, vaccination and immunization, allergy, AIDS, cancer, drug and alcohol, understanding the social activities. So, first of all, if I go for the introduction, what is a health? Health is actually a functional and metabolical efficiency, a part of a functional and metabolic efficiency which is of organism and of cellular and global level. If we go for the health, it is a complete physical, mental, and social state of a body. Now, what about the homeostasis? There is a difference between health and homeostasis. एबिलिटी ऑफ एनी टाइप ऑफ द ऑर्गेनिज्म जिसको रिस्पॉन्ड करने की, चैलेंजेस फेस करने की, इफेक्टिवली रिस्टोर करने की, बैलेंस बॉडी को स्टेन करने की एबिलिटी हो, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द होम्योस्टेसिस, द पर्टिकुलर एबिलिटी ऑफ एन ऑर्गेनिज्म which responds to the challenge and effective restore and sustain a state of balance. Now, what is disease? A malfunctioning of a body organ is called as a disease. It is of two types. One is infectious, which is communicable, and another is non infectious, which is non communicable. So, infectious disease is caused only by the pathogen, which can be communicated from one person to another. Example: tuberculosis, cholera, malaria, and AIDS. The pathogens which are involving in this infectious disease is bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. It can transmitted by the help of food, air, water, physical contact, and vectors. If I go for the non-infectious, they are not transferred from one person and another person because it is non-communicable disease, and it is due to the malfunctioning of the body organ due to some type of the weakness, because it is of two type. Either you have your own acquired disease or you have some genetic. If it is acquired, it is called as a diabetes, heart attack, and cancer. And if it is genetics, sickle cell anemia and color blindness. The part of a noting part is acute disease. They are very small duration, but the symptoms is very highly dangerous because these disease have a small type of duration, but symptoms is highly dangerous. Example: malaria and typhoid. If I go for the chronic disease, long term disease, and they are at the starting they are very low, but time by time they become dangerous. Example: anemia and hypertension. Somehow those people who have anemia, hypertension, sugar, diabetes, they have a problem to the lifetime. But if I say about malaria, typhoid, chikungunya, these type of the problem is somehow starting, the overall level is dangerous, but actually after that some time it will be cured. Now, common disease or in the human is number one, malaria, caused by Plasmodium. Actually, Plasmodium is a protozoa because it has a four species: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium ovule, and Plasmodium falciparum. But in this, the most serious malaria happened by the falciparum because it created a malaria called as malignant malaria. The infectious agent is mosquito, and which is actually a female mosquito called as Anopheles. The symptoms are headache, muscular pain, and high fever. Every malarial attack is consist of three stages. Number one, a person who has a malaria first goes to the cold stage. He feel very cold and very shivering, कांपने लगेगा. The second one, in the hot stage, the fever is high and high heart beating. And the last one is sweating stage where the temperature goes down to the normal. These three stages always be happened when the person is suffering from malaria. There is some prevention methods. If the population of the malaria is controlled, the malaria automatically controlled. Population of mosquito will be controlled, the malaria is automatically controlled. Why? Because the malaria can caused by only mosquito. So sleep under a mosquito net. You have to kill the adult mosquito by insecticides, and use of Kunan medicine, which is highly effective to treat malaria. Now, what is the life cycle of a plasmodium? Plasmodium actually a type of a parasite which is transferred by the help of the mosquito by their cellular glands and infected the person when the mosquito bite them. The mosquito are type of a agent, but plasmodium actually create the malaria. And the life cycle of a plasmodium is two types. One is sexual, another is asexual. If it is sexual, it is inside the mosquito, and if it is asexual, it is inside the body of a human or host. So sexual, I'm going to show you the total overall mechanism. First of all, when it is present, when the plasmodium is present in the mosquito, in the salivary gland, it infects the person, where the female mosquito takes up the gametophytes. So gametophytes is taken from the blood smear, which goes inside the body of a mosquito. So second part is a fertilization. It forms a oocyte. The second forms means when at the starting of the time when female mosquito bite any type of the person, it takes the gametophyte with the blood meal by the help of the blood. Fertilization taking place inside the body of a mosquito in the stomach or gut, where the zygote become developed and called as ookinete. This ookinete actually moves, and it moves to the stomach of a female anopheles, which changes into oocysts, and then this oocyst going to produce sporozoites and release inside the body cavity of a mosquito. The mature sporozoites moves in the different organ and penetrate the salivary gland of a mosquito, which transfer by the help of the saliva to the human beings of a healthy person. So gametocytes, then fertilization, then ookinete become oocysts, produce sporozoites, and sporozoite goes to the salivary gland and transfer to the human. This is the overall sexual reproduction. Now, life cycle of a mosquito inside the human. This infectious part of a gametocytes, which is called as the sporozoites, enter inside the liver cell. When it enter inside the liver cell, it becomes skin zont. When it become a skin zont, it transfer it into cryptozoites, break the cell, eat the cell of a liver and become cryptozoite, which produces new cells called as metacryptozoite and attack the new liver cells. Some metacryptozoite again become a skin zont and form cryptozoites. So this is called as the liver psychogony. Then when it become the metacryptozoites, it enter into the RBC. When it enter into the RBC, they become tropozoites. When they become a tropozoites, they eat the RBC. They eat the RBC, means the hemoglobin is going to be broken down, and because of this broken down, tropozoites become skin zont, and the hemoglobin is released in the form of hemozoin. This hemozoin is actually dangerous for the body. So why? Because the remaining part of the hematine become toxic and converted into hemozoin, which create a malaria. This hemozoin released in the body and create malaria, and skin zone become merozoites. So merozoite is of two types: megagametophytes, microgametophytes. Megagametophytes and microgametophytes. This merozoite again goes to the RBC form trapezoites, skin joint, and merozoites have two forms: megagametophyte and microgametophyte. Now, what is the use of this mega and micro? The use of this mega micro is, this is the gametocytes where they have taken from the human meal smear, means the blood smear. So human create mega and micro gametophytes, and this mega micro gametophyte converted into sporozoites and transfer again to the healthy person and infect them. So this is the total overall life cycle of a sexual part in mosquito and asexual part in the human. The next one is dengue. Caused by the virus, symptoms is very fever, headache, pain in muscles, joints, and the blood platelets is decreased. It transferred by the bite of a female mosquito Aedes, transmitted from mother to child also sometime. Treatment is only depends on some critical cause because it mostly the person is admitted to the hospital and prevented by the breeding place. Remove the breeding place of the mosquito from your house. Next one is chikungunya, caused by the chikungunya virus. Caused by the chikungunya virus, causing agent is Aedes aegypti mosquito. The transmission is bite of the Aedes mosquito. No vaccine is available. Sudden onset of the fear is the symptoms. Joints pain is also there. And conjunctivitis in the eyes, hemorrhage sometime. The treatment is only the elimination of mosquito. Same thing, breeding place ko remove karna. Paracetamol is going for the reduce the fever. And anti-allergic drug is like as a aspirin for the joint pain. Bed rest is also there. So chikungunya, dengue, malaria is caused by the mosquito. This elephantiasis is also caused by the mosquito. This is causing agent is Wucheria, that is a filarial worm, and a parasite of roundworm is spread by the help of mosquito. It causes lymphatic filariasis. At this time, the pathogen are transmitted to the human healthy body and bite by the help of the female mosquito vector. Symptoms is chronic inflammation of organ which they becomes shown after the year. Genital organ and also affected the result of the gross deformities. Like as example, your one leg is going to be big, like as elephantiasis, and treatment is albendazole and dichloromelate is or the two drugs which are treatment for the elephantiasis. Now the next one is Ascariasis, caused by a parasite roundworm Ascaris. Infection due to the contaminated food. Ascaris egg is going inside the stomach. Egg reaches to the intestine, has there, and finally reaches to the respiratory tract and become mature up to 30 centimeter. Means the Ascariasis. This Ascaris eggs hatches inside the intestine and become mature after the hatching, and maybe it is long up to 30 centimeter. The symptoms is internal bleeding, fever and diarrhea. The next one is typhoid. Typhoid is most common communicable disease. Actually, every year 2.5 millions of the persons are going to be died by this. And it is a bacterial disease which is caused by a bacteria Salmonella typhi, and it gives the typhoid fever. Tested by the help of the laboratory vital test. Sometimes the high fever is 39 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius is there, weakness is there, headache is there, and stomach pain is there. The only prevention is better sanitation facility must be there, avoid open food, using vaccine and control by the help of the antibiotics. Somehow it takes 1 week total to complete. And then the common cold. It's caused by the viral disease rhinovirus. Virus infect the nose and respiratory part or not lungs. Symptoms is sore throat, cough, headache and tiredness. Treatment is it is cured within 3 to 7 days. Common cold. Next one is pneumonia. Pneumonia is actually caused by the Streptococcus pneumoniae bacteria, and it infects the alveoli of a lungs which is filled with the fluid. Balgam jam jata hai and alveoli and create a problem during respiration. The symptoms is high fever, chilling type of the and become blue. Your lips become blue. Mostly the prevention is a communicable, which is actually by avoiding the bad food and bad habits. The next one is Amoebiasis, caused by the protozoa Entamoeba histolytica. Here the housefly is a carrier. Listen it, Amoebiasis, housefly is a carrier. Pain in abdomen and blood clot, the prevention is stay away from contaminated food. The next one is ringworm, also known as a tinea, an infection in skin caused by the Microsporum tricholephytum. It can exist anywhere in the body where the warm humidity is going to be there. The best indication is the reddish patches are soon appears like as a ring. Time by time it become very itchy. The treatment is antifungal drug, loose cloths, not sharing your towels and cloths, use fungicidal soaps, don't use shampoo, keep the skin dry and clean. These are all the diseases. Now the disease part is over. The next part is immunity. Our body has the ability to resist all type of the organism, but actually this toxin of foreign origin damage the tissue and organ, and the capacity to save our body is called as the immunity. Immune system has a capacity to identify the foreign particles, and when the foreign particle enter inside our body, it can be replicated by the help of two things. One is self, another is non-self. The immune system has a three line of defense. In the first line of defense, foreign particles when enter inside the body, the birth from the birth the immunity is created, which is created by the help of the birth is try to defend like as a HCl and digestive juices. The second life of defense is the WBC and macrophages, which is actually found inside our body, inside the blood. The third line of defense is the when anything when passes from the first line of defense and second line of defense, it goes to the third line of defense, and in the third line of defense, the T lymphocytes action is going to be formed. Now, the types of immunity is of two types. One is innate, another is acquired. Innate immunity is a non-specific and it is present from the birth. It is a procedure of the immunity to stop the foreign particles and be act like as a barrier. Have four types. Number one, the physical, second psychological, third cellular, fourth cytokine. The physical part in our body, skin is the first barrier to stop the entry. Respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract, urinogenital tract, which has the epithelial lining, is firstly have to take the defense, that is physical barrier. The psychological barrier is saliva, which has a microbial stop the microbial growth. Tears in our eyes. The third part is the cellular barrier, where the WBC, NK cell, lymphocytes, monocytes, these are also have to play their role. And the last part, cytokine, here the virus, when it is affected the body, it create a type of a protein called as interferons, and this interferons protect from the non-infecting, act as a non-injecting cells and attack the virus and kill them like as a NK cells, and this type of the things are called as antibody. Now this is the immunity which is actually have to be taken place when our body is going to be the line of defense, and it is of innate. But when we go for the acquired, it is a pathogen specific, a prepared from the organism to show the resistance against many type of the pathogen. अगर पैथोजन हमारे बॉडी के कांटेक्ट में फर्स्ट टाइम आता है, देन एट दैट टाइम द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्स इज अ लाइट रिस्पॉन्स, लो इंटेंसिटी प्राइमरी रिस्पॉन्स, एंड अगेन व्हेन आवर बॉडी again come to the contact with the same pathogen, our body create a high intensity response, and this is called as the secondary defense. So this is the acquired immunity. After that, go for the antibody, another name called as the immunoglobulin. Very important, the question will arises from here. Antibody is called as a immunoglobulin. It has a 4 peptide chain, 2 light chain, 2 heavy chain. Antibody is in the form of H2I2. Now it is of 5 type: IgM, IgG, IgA, IgB, IgE. Immunoglobulin M, immunoglobulin G, A, B and E. And it is present inside our blood, so response is called as a humoral immunoresponse, AMI. Antibody mediated immunity. It is of two type: T cell and B cell. Here's the diagram of a antibody. The structure, the upper outer short type of the chain is called as a light chain, and the bigger chain is called as the it's called as a actually high chain, and the one is called as a heavy chain and one is called as the light chain. The next part is the active and passive immunity. The active immunity is when the host come in contact with antigen and produce an antibody, that is called as the active immunity. It is of two type, natural and artificial. And the passive immunity is a ready-made antibody given to your body. So it is of two type. Either it is a natural, either it is artificial. If it is natural, it is coming from the mother to the fetus. And if it is antibody, it is going with the help of the vaccine. So vaccination and immunization is very important. Because of the memory of an immune system, vaccination is introduced in active pathogen. The antibody produced inside the body neutralize the pathogen. Whatever the pathogen is coming inside your body, it is have to be attacked by the help of antibody. Vaccine generate B cell and T cell and create, and during the time of the high infectious part, if the person is affected with the tetanus, it directly inject into the antitoxin. So our DNA technology produce these type of the antitoxin in a large scale like hepatitis B vaccine. If we go for the allergy, allergen is very important. The allergen is the substance, because of that the allergy is going to be created, like any type of the allergen, pollen, animal, water, liquid, honey, anything. Allergy is due to the release of the chemical, and that chemical is called as the histamine or serotonin. The drug which is used to remove this allergy is antihistamine steroids. Other than nowadays, children mostly suffer from the allergy due to the protected environment provided in the early life. Now autoimmunity. Sometimes due to the genetic and other reason, the body attacks self cells and damage the body is called as the autoimmunity. Immune system in our body has a lymphoid organ, tissue cells, and soluble nucleotides. The lymphocytes organ is of two types, that is primary and secondary. If it is primary, it coming from the bone marrow and thymus. And if it is secondary, it is coming from the spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, pairs, patches. So these are the immunity. Now the last one is bone marrow. Bone marrow is actually soft, not last one. Maybe after that abuse is there. Bone marrow is actually soft, very spongy type. Present inside the bones have a 4% of a weight. It is of two types, red and yellow. Red bone marrow form RBC, WBC platelets. Yellow bone marrow have a fat cells. At the time of the birth, most is red, but at the age increases, it becomes yellow. So half of the adult bone marrow is red. The function is blood clotting, oxygen carrying, antibody production, and fight against the infection. What are stem cell? Stem cell is also very important. So stem cell is known as the embryonic reserve cell. Stem cell have a capacity to produces the osteoblast and chondrocytes, myocytes. These stem cell is present at the time of the birth or at the teen years. If your bone marrow is not working, then you have to perform the growth of a stem cell, which also become a bone marrow. Now, AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndromes. It is a type of a syndrome. Because it create a group of symptoms. It is congenital disease. First time it is reported in 25 years ago in 1981. Total 25 millions of the people died by the AIDS, and AIDS is caused by the help of the retrovirus. So another name of the HIV virus is retrovirus. HIV is human immunodeficiency virus and consists of the envelope cover the RNA genome. It is spread by the sexual contact, infected needle, blood transfusion, and through the placenta. The four parts where it is spread. So many questions can be arised: what is AIDS, how it is created, which virus affected the to create the AIDS, and how it can spread. Higher risk of getting injected is by multiple sexual partner if you are using. Then drug addiction. The third one is repeated blood transfusion, and the HIV/AIDS infected the mother to fetus. Now, if we go for the AIDS, the few steps are going to be taken. This retrovirus actually have a viral RNA core which infect the normal cell. When it infect the normal cell, the viral protein coat is going to be out and the viral part is going to be inserted. This viral RNA introduced inside the cell and produce a DNA by the help of the reverse transcriptase. See, transcription from DNA to RNA. Now reverse transcriptase helps to produce the RNA to DNA. This viral DNA is going to incorporate inside the host, and when this viral DNA produce a viral RNA, it infect the cell. Now this new virus are going to produce in a many times and increase the population, and when it increase the population, it increase the population by eating the T lymphocyte and B lymphocytes. So because of that, after some years, Actually it takes 7 to 8 years to become AIDS. So you have a lot much of the time, so you can have to check your blood, that you are HIV positive or not. It is not a sinus. It actually a type of a responsibility that you have to find out that you have any type. If you have any type of the disease, then you'll be cured soon before it becomes AIDS. Now the next one is cancer. A type of a disease very dangerous. Every year 1 million of the people is going to be died by the cancer. The development of this cancer is based on oncogenic transformation of the cell. Treatment is biological and medical also, medicinal also. The growth and differentiation is highly regulated and controlled, but in our body, if we have a cancer, then it is not controlled by our body and it becomes a tumor. Tumor is of two types. One is benign tumor, another is malignant tumor. If it is a benign tumor, it is divided in the original location, cannot spread in other part. But if is a malignant tumor, it transfer by the help of, it is by the help of neoplastic cell, and it transfer by the help of the blood and to the other parts and create another tumor. That is, this spreading is called as a mutagenesis. Sorry, mutastasis. Now cause. A normal cell become a cancer cell due to carcinogen, and it is by the help of physical, chemical and biological. Why physical? Because physical is ionized X-rays and gamma rays, non-ionized ultraviolet rays. It damages the DNA. If it is chemical, tobacco smoke causing the lung cancer. And the biological is only the virus, that is oncogenic virus, which causes the oncogenes and the cell become oncogenic. How to detect this? By the help of the biopsy. A small piece is going to be taken and have to identify. Leukemia by the help of the blood and bone marrow. Radiography by the help of X-ray and CT scan. Antibody by the use of the detection of cancer of a small amount. And molecular biology, a technique to identify the gene that is causing the cancer, like as a lung cancer. If you go for the treatment may be surgery, radiation therapy, and immunotherapy. And in radiation therapy, the radioactive rays are going to kill the cancer cell and treated by the help of lethal radiation. Chemotherapy is in which the cancer cell is treated by the chemical drugs, and the side effect is mostly the hair loss and anemia. At that time, when these type of the drugs are going to be given, the hair loss and anemia is going to be caused. The next one is the drug and alcohol abuse. The drug is actually abused only by the opioids, carotenoids, and coca alkaloids. Most of them is coming from the flowering plant. Opioids is a type of drug join the specific opioids receptor, and CNS and gastrointestinal tract are controlled by these type of the drugs. Number one is heroin, also called as a smack, and the another biological name and chemical name is diacetic morphine. White in color, odorless, bitter, and coming from the poppy plant. Cannabinoids are the type of a chemical of the group which is infect the brain and natural neural system. Cannabis sativa is the part where it is obtained by the help of this flower. Upper part of the flower have a leaves and resins and called as a charas and ganja. Somehow they directly taken by the help of the mouth and affect the cardiovascular system. If we go for cocaine, cocaine is coming from the coca alkaloids, also called as a coca alkaloids, and obtained from a coca plant, which is found in South America. It is bitter in taste and aromatic, and taken by the help of the nose. When you smoke it, then it is reaches to the brain and it produces a sense and increase your energy, called as a atropa and dhatura. Now, why these are not important? Because it create a type of a adolescence and drug abuse means if you using over the limit, it will be addicted to you. That is called as abuse. A period in which the child become mature and believe that the participation in the society in the 12 to 18 age, it is bridges like as a childhood and adulthood. That is called as a adolescence. Now how it affect by the help of the curiosity, some type of the dangerous and excitement. You have to experiment this, and you have a negative emotion about the stress, pressure, and you have to remove this negative by the help of these things. And also the TV and internet also performing these type of things. So don't use these type of the thing. It is not very important for your body. You have to save your body from these infectious and poisonous things. What are the effects? Nervousness and neglect, these their studies, and misuse of this drug also create a side effect to the female look like as a male. Somehow in Olympic also they are using these type of the drugs. Now these drugs create misuse of female gender to become a male, look like as a male, because they are aggressive, depressed, and their hair growth in the face also. Sometimes this drug needles repeated use also create AIDS and hepatitis, and drug damage the kidney. I hope so you will understand about the abuse, immunity, antibody, types of the immunity, health, and different type of the disease. This chapter is very important, and each disease you have to separately pause the video, find out what I am saying, and you have to write it in your notes. And for the notes purpose, I will definitely send it to you. The previous chapter evolution, the notes I am going to send it to you in the way of the PDF. You have to understood about this, written it, write it, learn it as much as you learn. Now today I also try to send you the questions and answers of most important question and answer which are coming in your board examination. So thank you, have a nice day, and enjoy the Sunday. Thank you.